Hey, everybody, and welcome to I Can't Believe It's Not News, your favorite podcast about fake news. I'm Beth.
And I'm Kelly.
Hey, Kelly, how's it going today?
It's going pretty good. How are you, Beth?
It's going good. I want to bring back an old thing that Elizabeth and I used to do at the beginning of each episode. We used to apologize. So I have some apologies for this week. One is I want to apologize to our listeners that you are not going to actually be hearing from Clint. So Kelly is doing a great job, and I think you're going to be just fine with just her and me. But Clint found out that he was just a little bit too busy to do a regular scheduled podcast. So,
but you still have me.
Yes, and he's still listening. He better be, Clint.
Hey, Clint.
Okay, the other thing I want to apologize for. This bothered me so much, and I tried to figure out a way to edit it out, and I couldn't. But last week when we were talking, I said that books were finite, and what I meant was that like they were final, they were complete, they were total. And finite does not mean that. And I know that.
Books are infinite. Infinite.
Finite is like when there is an end. It's not final. So anyway, it really bugged me that I said that word wrong, and I know I did it, and I couldn't edit it out, but I just wanted to apologize for getting that wrong. So, Kelly, anything that you want to apologize for?
Nope. I'm good.
She's perfect.
I am. I'm sorry about it, but I no apologies really, actually.
That's perfect. Yeah. Do not ever apologize for being perfect. Okay.
Yeah, no, I won't.
So this week I was thinking about it, and, I really like that we're doing this kind of like song of the week and book of the week, kind of like our recommendations, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Well, I was thinking about it. Sometimes people call songs jams.
They do call them jams.
And I was like, what's our tagline?
Is it Spread Jam?
Not lies. So I was like, oh my gosh, how did I not even think about that when we're doing like the song, like our recommendations, we're spreading jam.
We are. Hey, and maybe when I spread my book, I'm spreading not lies.
That's perfect. Okay, so I'll do the spread jam and you do the not lies.
I'll do it.
That's perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So your jam of the week is Debaser by the Pixies. Do you know this song, Kelly?
I do. I love that song. I love the Pixies. They were a staple of my teenage years.
So this album, Doolittle, came out in 1989. I had it on tape since 1989. And I used to listen to it over and over and over. I only had like 3 tapes. I had this one. I had the one by Violent Femmes. And then I had the Top Gun soundtrack. That was it.
Okay. All right.
So
I had 2 out of 3 of those.
So this song, Debaser's like not a good person, right?
Right.
This week, it kind of fits in with what we're going to talk about. So
yes,
I have to tell you a funny story, though. I played this song recently just to listen to it again. And
because it's an amazing song, right?
Exactly. Well, I saw the lyrics because on my Amazon Prime Music app, it'll actually show you the lyrics to some of the songs. And I'm singing it as always because I've been listening to this song since 1989. And I'm singing it and it's like, I want you to know. And then I'm like slicing the Bible and I'm like, that's not what it says on the lyrics. It says slicing of eyeballs. And I thought it was slicing the Bible.
I you know what? I'm really hesitant to see how either one makes sense in a conversation.
Right? Neither one of them makes sense.
Okay.
I will explain it though. And there's another part. This is really bad. It says, but I am Unchin Andalusia. Now that doesn't make any sense at all. And that is not what I thought that it said. I thought it was, but I am, Chin, I'm a losing ya.
Oh.
And I thought it was 2 different sentences even. I mean, I had it completely wrong, right?
It happens.
So it's kind of funny. There's actually a Wikipedia page just for this song. For Debaser by the Pixies.
Are you kidding?
No.
Just for one song?
One song.
That's amazing.
Yeah, this song is amazing. So the lyrics are based on a surrealist film by Luis Buñuel and Salvador Dali called dun, da, da, Un Chien Andalou.
Okay.
So that's where this part comes from in the lyrics. So the film includes a scene in which a woman's eye is slit by a razor.
Oh my gosh, Beth, I know this movie.
Oh my God.
I watched this when I was in college in like a film studies class. It means it's like about isn't it the moon? Something like that. I don't know. When you translate it, I don't know. But
I can't believe you've seen it. I was like, I'm going to have to look this up and watch it.
Yes. It's not that long, if I remember correctly.
Oh, really? Okay. Even better, because it sounds kind of weird.
Yeah.
But it says the woman's eye is slit by a razor, which is referenced in the song lyric, slicing up eyeballs, I want you to know.
Yes.
And this is what, in here they're calling him Black Francis. I know him as Frank Black.
That's what I know him as well.
Yeah, but it says, I wish Buñuel were still alive. He made this film about nothing in particular. The title itself is a nonsense. With my stupid, pseudo-scholar, naive, enthusiast, avant-garde-ish, amateurish way to watch Un Chien Andalou, I thought, yeah, I will make a song about it. He sings Un Chien Andalou. It sounds too French. So I will sing Un Chien Andalusia. It sounds good, no?
You know, I kind of really respect the fact that he took an absolute piece of nonsense movie that was made just for pure art's sake and made an absolute nonsense song for pure music's sake.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I love Debaser. I love that song. So I don't care what he wrote it about. I love it anyway.
Well, he says that the title references the fact that Un Chien Andalou debases morality and standards of art. So that's what it's about. It's kind of cool to learn about this stuff.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. And very punk rock of Frank Black, of course.
Very. So that is my spread jam of the week. We will put the link up. Kelly, you got some not lies for us?
I sure do. So we are taping this on the night of the Grammys, and I am going to spread not lies and say that I recommend Carrie Fisher's The Princess Diarist. I did read it last year, and it's wonderful. She had just passed away when I got it, and it was so nice to be able to sink back into her voice and her world. Aww. I've listened to audiobooks of almost all of her books, which she does the audio for all of them. And this was by far my favorite. It's as funny as Wishful Drinking. I would be hard pressed to say which one is better. This one, if you're a Star Wars fan, is absolutely phenomenal. I am not a huge Star Wars fan until the last movie because that's my jam.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Clint?
No.
Clint?
My family
right there.
I do love Star Wars, but I wanted a bigger role for women. I know I'll get the hate mail for it. I don't care. This was my favorite. I felt like it did the best job for women. It was like a feminist Star Wars movie, and I loved it. But that's just my own lens. That's what I went in there. That's what I saw. It made me happy. But I really, really, really recommend Carrie Fisher's The Princess Diarist, especially if you can listen to it on audiobook. There's a reason that it won. She is
it just
a
won
phenomenal
tonight.
writer.
It won a Grammy.
It just won tonight.
That's amazing.
And yeah. And I mean, you'll see if you go back through the winners, you have it's all political books and comedy writers. But I believe she's almost always nominated when she does a book for the audiobook version of her books that she releases because they're amazing. And she does a great job. And this is from someone who reads, anywhere from 80 to 100 audiobooks a year. This was one of my favorites. I love her.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, hey, what should we talk about today? Any ideas?
I have some ideas.
Oh, good.
I was thinking that we could talk about clickbait.
Oh, clickbait.
Yeah. It is not something anyone likes, but we all know that it sort of runs the internet, especially our news and journalism websites.
Have you seen those commercials where it's like people who say they like cable instead of DirecTV, and then it lists some people like to sit on gum, or some people like to run into glass doors. Like, have you seen those commercials?
I have not.
They need to add clickbait on there. Some
Yeah,
people still
they need
like
to.
clickbait.
Yeah, some people still love clickbait. But the people who love clickbait are the people who are making money from clickbait. It's not the users. It is the companies that still use them. I wanted to introduce what clickbait was, but I wanted to give a background as to how this started.
Go for it. Let's hear it.
All right. So in 1994, there was a gentleman who used to be a direct mail marketer. His name was Ken.
Was it Al Gore? Because he invented the internet, right?
He did invent the internet, but he did not invent click-throughs.
Oh, okay. I just sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. He may have contributed money to the cause of starting the internet, but he did not have anything to do with making revenue off the internet. So this has to do with how people started to make revenue off the internet. And one of the ways they did that is they used a metric, which is a tool for advertising purposes, where they came up with the idea of saying, okay, we're going to base this upon how many people click onto your website. So how many page views, unique page views you get a day.
And who was this guy? I interrupted you. You were about to say who this guy was.
His name is Ken McCarthy.
Okay, so he's the one that came up with this like click-through measurement.
That's correct. He came up with the click-through metric. And what happened was they could say, hey, we have this many people visiting our individual unique users coming in per day. Will you pay us based on a per person? And it might be like half a penny per person, depending on how many people you get in. You know, you might have a $100 ad, or you might have a $1,000 ad, depending on how long your advertising stays on the page and how big it is and how many page clicks they get per day. So that was how they first started to make revenue out of having things like blog posts or having any number of things. Even when newspapers first started, that's how they would start. And that's how they still continue through today, but even worse. So one of the things I wanted to mention is that obviously 1994 is a really long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was in college.
I was still in high school, and I'm old.
Just a little bit older.
Beth is not old, but I am old. It's fine. It's just the way time works sometimes. But because of click-through, what we've gotten is we've gotten a revenue stream on the internet that's based solely on how many users you can bring to your site per day. We're not generating revenue from something that's the product itself that we're looking at. So we're not making revenue from just say having a great idea and writing down that great idea. We're only getting revenue from being able to put an ad on the side of that page,
right,
that brings eyes in, or having what we're going to call clickbait, because you can have the greatest article in the world, but if you don't have a good headline, you're not going to get eyes on the prize.
Right.
So that's where we come into clickbait, and we all know clickbait. Clickbait is, it's anything that does nothing but grab your attention and give you a short bite that makes you want to click.
So is clickbait kind of like a Facebook dark post in a way, in that it can be nefarious, but it can also be not nefarious?
It can be. In my opinion, I look at it the same way I would look at, say, something awful like a tabloid or National Enquirer. Clickbait is nothing different than those sort of tabloid headlines that we've had for hundreds of years in regular newspapers. And which ones to trust. It's just that what we've reached now is we've reached such a saturation in the market with news that even our trustworthy news sources are having to, in order to make revenue, they're having to still use clickbait. And we have companies, like for instance, there's a company called Outbrain, and Outbrain is a clickbait company that
I'm familiar with Outbrain.
Yes. So almost everybody is. Almost everybody is familiar with them because even on the most respected website, you have Outbrain or you have Taboola, and they generate revenue for these magazines, online content, even respected magazines like Time, Fortune. You've got The Guardian, I believe, still uses them. Almost any, even USA Today, even the article in Fortune that I was reading about Outbrain has a section with Outbrain. And it's not always even just at the bottom. I mean, sometimes they're in the middle of articles.
Right.
Like this one has more than one in the middle of the article. And it's all clickbait articles. And Time Magazine or Time Inc. signed a deal with Outbrain in 2014 that was worth an estimated $100 million to the magazine publisher over 3 years because they have their own content inside of Outbrain that people pay to be a part of that to get eyes on their articles through their clickbait headlines. And that revenue goes to Outbrain, and then Outbrain buys a section of these big magazines because it's basically like a middleman for these clickbait articles.
Don't they call them click farmers?
Some of them are click farm, and click farm is it's a whole nother little evil empire unto itself.
There's an empire within an empire within an empire.
It is. Click farms are usually in developing countries like China and India and the Philippines, Bangladesh. And all they do is you pay them a certain amount for a certain amount of clicks on your page. So, if you're in web design business or you're in a newspaper business and you need to have so many clicks on a certain amount of content in a certain time in order to sell ads on that page, you can purchase a certain number of clicks from these click farms overseas. And it's a ridiculously small amount. Like, for instance, if you just even look at the Wikipedia page for Click Farm, you'll see there's things like Buy Plus Flowers sells 250 Google Plus shares for $12.95. Instagram Engine sells 1,000 Instagram followers for $12. Wow. And Authentic Hits sells 1,000 SoundCloud plays for $9. So this market is out there. People are still using them. We would like these bigger companies like The Guardian and Time and any of these really reputable sources, we'd like them to stop using them. But an analogy would be to say, okay, everyone in the NFL now gets to use steroids. There are a certain number of really great players who are like, but I don't want to use steroids. But everyone else out there is using steroids. And if you want to make the same numbers as those people, you've got to put the steroids in your butt or wherever it is you're going to stick the steroids. I mean, that's what it's like, is everyone is doing it.
Right.
And every single one of these places is doing it. And when you don't do it, you don't get the same amount of money. And there are places, obviously, that don't do this. But I mean, if you're going to have a large staff and you're trying to have enough money to have overseas reporters, I mean, we know that newspapers were declining in the last several years. Before last year's election, we didn't have nearly the amount of people who wanted to pay for their news. And it was a declining field. And I mean, it's great now that people are finally starting to pay a bit for their news and understand why journalism is important. But we haven't always valued that. And valuing it now isn't really, now they're just going to take the added revenue. You know what I mean? They're not going to just be like, oh, well, we don't need this anymore.
Right. It's reminding me of a certain tax cut.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it's like. And, it's hard to put that genie back in the bottle once it's there, unless you have some sort of actual regulation against it. But at the end of the day, I don't know that Congress or anyone is going to pass legislation on the kind of advertising that can be sold on a website. That seems like it's such a slippery slope that I don't think it would ever happen. But the one thing I'm glad about is that you and I have a podcast and we can talk about this, because it is something that is completely fake, that people should know why these are at the bottom of their news pages, even pages they trust.
I think the problem becomes when the article that they're promoting or the product they're promoting is a fake news article or it's a bad product. I have an example to talk about here of a bad product.
Oh, awesome. Tell me all about your bad product.
Oh my gosh. So it was funny when you said, what do you think about doing an episode about clickbait? And I was like, that's so funny because the day before you said that to me, I was reading an article with my husband on his computer, and Elizabeth and I had done an episode about Houston with Hurricane Harvey. We had done that episode, and in it, we had done a little bit of research into Joel Osteen's church and some of the rumors that were flying around with his church and regarding the hurricane and everything. Right. So on the side of the computer was this ad that says, Joel Osteen leaving Houston. And I was like, what? Click on that. What is that? I want to see that. And he clicked on it, and it was those stupid fucking skincare ads.
Oh, I think I know the skincare ads you're talking about. I think I've seen these.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me. They got me. Yeah. It used to be, what I used to see all the time is they would say Joanna Gaines, that she was leaving Fixer Upper because it was so popular. But now they actually are in the last season, so they can't say that anymore. So they had to switch it up. So now they're focusing on, one of them at least, is focusing on Joel Osteen is leaving Houston. And it says that his wife, Victoria, is a mega millionaire making more than him now because she found the secret and developed this skincare line. So when you said you wanted to talk about clickbait, I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to look into this skincare thing because it really pisses me off when you click on something. And it does, there's so many of them. It's like Jennifer Aniston leaving her career, or I saw one about Rachel Maddow once, about how Rachel Maddow was struggling with her weight. And I was like, Rachel Maddow hasn't gained an ounce the entire time she's been on TV. Like, she's never changed.
Right.
I think she's in a time capsule. I don't think she's aged. She's probably using the right skincare.
Probably. I think her and Ellen DeGeneres both have the same skincare, which is amazing. I want whatever they're having.
So I have to tell you, so I looked into this and I thought this would be pretty straightforward. Like, I thought there'd be a company that's promoting these skincare clickbait ads. I would maybe find something about it. I went down a rabbit hole here. This is bad. And I came very close to making a Sean Hannity board.
I will tell you guys that she sent me a text message that was a picture of her list, and she had 51 companies on it. Was that right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. It was, I felt like perhaps I had lost Beth for a moment.
It's insane. Okay, let me tell you about this. So I have a Daily Beast article, the title of it, and I am not kidding. I just want to make this clear. This is real, and I am not kidding. It says, Seth Rich murder conspiracy is being used to sell face cream.
Okay.
Now, just to remind you who Seth Rich is, he is the DC staffer that was shot and killed in a robbery in Washington, D.C. And a conspiracy theory is that he is the one who leaked the DNC emails to WikiLeaks and that he was murdered for that.
Right.
Which is untrue.
I've also heard that it could have possibly been a serial killer. Have you heard that?
No, what I've heard is that it's the police don't know, and that it was probably just a robbery gone wrong.
Gotcha. And
that his family is desperate for people to stop fucking talking about it.
I can imagine.
Okay. This was written on July 5th of 2017 by Lachlan Marquet. And this article, I had to read it about 3 times just to understand it. But here's what it is. There is a company called the Prosper Group. Okay. They are an email marketing company, and their top client last year was Trump. Their other clients include Mike Pence, Tom Price, Scott Walker, and Chris Christie. Are you seeing a trend yet?
I am. I'm seeing a straight red thread line.
Yes. Prosper Group is the middle. They cater to Republican politicians. Okay. So they are an email marketing company. So if you have a campaign and you want their help and you're Republican, you call these guys, they have a huge email list and they will blast the people on their email list with your campaign messages.
Right.
They will do the graphic design for your website. They'll do all that, but they're like basically an email marketing company.
Right.
Okay. They are the owners of that company, the co-founders are Kristen and Kurt Ludhart, and it's Luidhardt. I'm going to call them Ludhart. I don't care if I'm mispronouncing their name.
It sounds good. It's fine.
Yeah. So they own Prosper, right? Now, Prosper also has a client called Mustard Seed. You're never going to guess who owns Mustard Seed.
Who owns Mustard Seed?
It's the same people.
What?
Kurt and Kristen.
Are you kidding, Beth?
I'm not kidding. They're in the same suite in a building in Greenwood, Indiana. And there's a link actually in this article where you can click on and see the incorporation paperwork. So it has those two listed as the only executives in the company. So Mustard Seed, stay with me here.
All right.
Blasted this advertisement, Clickbait, out that has the Seth Rich murder linked to selling skincare. And let me tell you how they did that. Okay.
Okay.
Here's what they do. So let me tell you this really quick. Have you ever heard of an advertorial?
I have heard of it, but I don't really know exactly what it is.
So an advertorial is an advertisement in the form of editorial content. So this is kind of like what they did with Clickbait when it started is it's an advertisement tied together with like editorial content. So they make it seem like a story, but it's actually an advertisement. Okay.
Okay. Do they have to be marked like in magazines when they have to be marked at the top to say this is an advertisement?
It should be.
Okay.
Yes, but not always. Right.
Okay.
Or it should say sponsored content. Like a lot in a reputable magazine, you're going to see that.
Okay. All right.
In Shitstorm, Indiana, you might not. Okay. So they did this advertisement. And what they do is they take a real story. So Seth Rich was murdered, correct?
Right.
That's true.
He was murdered. Yes.
Conservatives picked up on this conspiracy theory trying to link him to the DNC WikiLeaks, which is complete bullshit. Number one peddler of this theory, Sean Hannity.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
I mean, he was riding this horse a lot. In fact, he was starting to get in trouble for it.
Right. Our savior of conspiracy theories.
Right.
Sean Hannity.
That is true. So what they did is they wrote this story that said Sean Hannity's wife drops bombshell amidst Fox News murder investigation.
Does Fox News do murder investigations now?
No. So what they were saying is Sean Hannity was getting in trouble over peddling this conspiracy theory about the Seth Rich murder.
Okay.
And that's true. Okay. So they took that and they sent out this email saying this. And guess what? Guess what the outcome is in this article?
What's the outcome?
It's that Sean Hannity doesn't have to worry about anything because his wife, Jill, is now making so much money selling skincare.
Did she get it from Joel Osteen's wife?
No, she developed this. It's called Parisian Secret. And her net worth is more than his. This is a common thing. So it's like her, net worth is jaw-dropping more than his. He doesn't have to worry about working anymore because now she can make all this money with Parisian Secret Cream. So I went to ParisianSecretCream.net.
What did you find out? Is it any good?
Oh, yeah, my trial's on the way. I'll let you know. So ironically, Jill Hannity's name is not listed on the front page of this website like you think it would be since she spent years developing it and has made millions.
That's so weird.
It's almost
I would put my name on it.
It's almost like she's not connected to it.
I don't know what you might mean.
So this website follows a pattern. Okay. So basically it will have a few things about it. Grab a free bottle here link, rush my trial link, free bottle link, rush my trial link. There's all these links to get you to go to the next page where they offer you a 14-day trial of Parisian Secret for only a small delivery fee. Now, on this actual website for Parisian Secret Cream, there is a link to a YouTube video by a Dr. Joel Schlesinger. Now, this guy is real, and he has an award-winning clinic, store, and spa in Nebraska, of all places. It was weird.
I could see why they call it a Parisian cream.
Well, his isn't called that. He has a website called lovelyskin.com. And the reason I bring him up, I watched his YouTube video. He is not at all connected with Parisian Secret Cream. And I searched his website. They don't sell it on his website. So they stole this video of an actual dermatologist that's respected and put it on their website to make it look like he's working with them.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, really. That kind of pissed me off. So I sent them an email and let them know that they're using his video. I haven't heard anything back yet, but I was like, no, nuh-uh. That's ridiculous.
You sent an email to him?
Yeah, to his company and said like, hey, just so you know, they're using this. So I want to switch over to this Snopes article real quick because there's something else that before we get to the 51 companies here. See why I needed a chart?
Yes. Yes, I do.
So there's a Snopes article that says fake celebrity skincare ads dupe consumers with free trial offers. So this says that all these celebrities, I'll name a couple. Priscilla Chan and Mark Zuckerberg have launched their own skincare lines, according to this. Joanna Gaines again. It lists Sean Hannity and his wife. I guess her name is Jill Rhodes. I'm sorry, I called her Jill Hannity. I apologize. It's just like there's so many people that they take and try to use their names. I have another list here. Megyn Kelly, Kelly Ripa, a 72-year-old grandma. These are all celebrities and people that they've put into their links, right?
Okay.
So it tells you get this free trial and it tells you pay shipping and handling, but nowhere does it tell you very clearly that what you're signing up for is an automatic shipment every month.
Oh, of course.
And also that if you don't return it within 2 weeks, you get billed like $98 per bottle. And it's usually 2 to 3 bottles.
What? Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding. Don't order this stuff. So they charge you like $200 to $300. And then when you call in, it's really hard to get it canceled. It's really hard to get a refund. You're probably going to get charged for 2 or 3 months before you get it handled. I'm assuming that most people honestly just end up canceling their credit card that it's attached to because that's not the only way to stop it.
That might be easier. Yeah,
exactly. So I looked at this here and I clicked on one of the ones that they had and it took me to Derma Mira, right?
Right.
Different from Parisian Secret. So Derma Mira is where I clicked on this picture that they had. I was like, I'm going to Google image search this and just see what comes up. Now, I've done some Google image search before, and usually you get like maybe 2 or 3 hits as far as like the actual picture. Whenever you do a Google search, you always get like, 1 million results or more, but the only ones that actually apply are like the first couple. I don't know where this one stopped applying because I had to stop looking, but I went through the first 10 pages of Google results. So there was 22,500,000 results. In the first 10 pages, the exact same picture was used with 51 different websites.
What?
All different skin creams, like different names. Now, here's the thing about this picture. It's like a 4-picture collage, and it has the name of the company on a poster that says like, I love Derma Mira. Okay. So on each one, they change the name and they keep using this collage. So this isn't just like a model picture. This is a collage. This is very specific to these sites, right?
Right.
Let me read you some of these names. So you have Derma Mira, Lumidaire Anti-Aging, Skin Glow, Rarete Ageless Face Cream, Bella Silk Ageless Facial Serum, Dermalure, Lumabella, Dermaviva, Skin Fresh, Ellie Skin, Hello World, Dermacerve, Bioderm, Amore, Dermafix. Are you seeing a pattern here?
I'm seeing a bit of a pattern. I'm seeing I don't think there are any that maybe Hello World is the only one I heard that didn't have skin in it somewhere, or bio.
Derma, bio. Yeah. They had some for juveniles too. And there was like Purist Skincare, Barely There, Pure Obsession. Oh, Junie Vivi. Some of them are really hard to pronounce. I'm thinking not all of them are for America.
Yeah.
There must be some for some foreign languages too, because I was like, that's like not even a word. But they just basically, as soon as they get reported enough, they just start a new company.
Yeah, they just changed the name.
Now, like I said, I wrote down 51. That has got to be the tip of the iceberg. They said in the Snopes article, the Federal Trade Commission has taken legal action against the operators of websites using these tactics in the past. In 2016, they obtained court orders permanently barring 29 defendants in California from running businesses that sell products via a negative option, meaning the consumer's silence is automatically interpreted as consent. But as we have seen, those 29 people now banned from scamming the public were only the tip of the iceberg. So even though the FTC has started to take action, and I'm sure that they're trying to take action against these companies, there's just way too many of them. And they're just everywhere. So the Parisian Secret one, it didn't have the same picture as the ones that I found. But when you click on the Rush My Trial, either from Parisian Secret or Derma Mira or Skin Fresh or Hello World, takes you to a very similar looking page. They either have the image that I Google searched, or they have another one. It's a 3 image collage instead of 4. And it's like a scientist maybe at the top, like looking through a microscope. And then underneath it, it's 2 versions of skin, one that looks terrible and one that looks great. Right. So that one I Google image searched, and I didn't have the stomach to go all the way to page 10. It was the same thing. I mean, This is the same parent company at the end, or the same company that's giving people a model on what to do. And I wouldn't be surprised if our friends over at the Prosper Group are the ones that are prospering from this. Exactly. Now, I will tell you, I did look into Melania Trump used to have a skincare line. And I thought, holy fucking shit. Really?
Okay.
What if, right? But her skincare line was legitimate. It is defunct. It used caviar. And the reason that it went out of business was due to the company that they tried to get it started with. They had a legal problem and went out of business. And actually, Melania Trump came out of that whole thing smelling and looking like roses. Like, she was very legitimate and had spent years developing it and really wanted to do that skincare company, but it is now defunct. So,
yeah.
But I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't begrudge Melania having her own skincare line, as long as she's not part of this particular thing. I mean, this is pretty awful. This is something that I think people should be more aware of, that this is something that happens.
Yeah. So I was kind of blown away, I have to be honest. I
think I need to get you a big roll of red string.
I never expected. This was like a hat trick of fake news. You have a fake news story with a conspiracy theory with clickbait in one. I'm speechless. Like, what in the world? And it annoys me, but I never thought that it would go so deep, or that I would feel like Sean Hannity at the end of researching this.
Yeah, that's how I felt at the end of the Big Data podcast that we did, where it was all the people who were involved with Cambridge Analytica and getting Trump elected. I just started to think, oh God, I'm never been a conspiracy theorist, but I might become one if I look any more into this.
Oh, I just want to mention this. Now, this is just fun stuff about Prosper. Okay. They also own an email list named Lifelong Conservative. Lifelong Conservative links to the DC Statement and also Real Time Trump, which are both owned by Mustard Seed. Conservative Connector, which is another email company owned by Ludhart, the RNC paid $27 million to them for their email list.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Email lists are worth a lot of money.
Yeah. And hey, if you send out a skincare conspiracy theory clickbait to email to all those people too, and 1% of them click on it and do this free trial and you get to charge them $200 how many times?
Right.
I mean, I cannot even fathom how much money they are making on this scam.
Yeah. They went for the big scam too.
Oh my God.
Not like a flying under the radar $10 a month on a monthly basis on your credit card. That, sometimes those things slide by.
Right.
Like I forget sometimes that I sign up to like Marvel Unlimited or whatever it was that I signed up for and I paid for like a year and a half and I forgot that I had, it's
right.
But not that I minded. It was like comics on demand. I could have read it, whatever, but I completely forgot that I had it and realized because it's such a small amount, but this is like, nope. Yeah. We know you're going to cancel us because this product is bogus. It almost makes me want to see if I'll have to go look and see if anyone has actually like sent this stuff to be analyzed to see what's actually in the lotion.
John Oliver needs to do that. He would be perfect.
That would be a great idea. John Oliver, if you're listening.
Which we hope you are.
Which we know you are. Come on, man. We know you're listening.
Okay, so I just have one more thing to say and then I'll end and I'll let you take back over here. The most ironic thing about this is that doing all of this research, I'm pretty sure has given me wrinkles.
Oh, no.
And now I need a good skin cream if you have any recommendations.
I do have some recommendations, but there's no free advertising on this show, so I will tell you out there.
Perfect. All right.
All right. So what I wanted to bring it back to was looking at solutions for things like clickbait, because we know that right now it's sort of this necessary evil out in the field. If these places don't make money, then this practice is just going to continue forever. And it will just get worse.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that there are ways to use other metrics. We have facts that say clickbait, no matter how well it works, if there's nothing there, or if people are simply clicking to get an answer to something, they'll click on it, scroll down, and be gone from your page within 15 seconds, which means that they're not taking in the ads that are on that page. They're not seeing what the eyes are supposed to see, which is the basis for the clickbait article in the first place. So one of the things that they're starting to use as a metric is called attention web, which measures the time spent on a web page. So it has to be over a certain amount of time, which is usually aimed at about 15 seconds or more.
Okay.
Even in those click farms now, you can get them to do this for, say, look at a YouTube video for longer than 13 seconds. And then they click out and click back in and then watch it for longer than 13 seconds because it has to be a certain percentage in order for the advertising revenue to come in. So usually that advertising on YouTube, usually the advertising is right at the very beginning. It's not like a Facebook ad where they put it right in the middle.
Right.
Sometimes cutting a sentence right in half because they don't care. But, that's one of the things that I was looking at. And one of the articles I was reading from time.com from 2014 called What You Think You Know About the Web Is Wrong. The author of the story, Tony Haley, who is from a company called Chartbeat, said they looked at deep user behavior across 2 billion visits, billion with a B, across the web over the course of a month and found that most people who click don't read. 55% spent fewer than 15 seconds actively on a page. And if you filter that down to just, say, a news website or a news article, then it goes down to 1/3
Really?
of the visitors. Yeah, spend more than 15 seconds, which means that you might click on it and then be like, this article is way too long. I don't have time for this. And you got to go. And that's just how it happens a lot. And so what they're looking for is a metric to weigh in how long people actually spend on a page, because then they're going to see, as they read and scroll down, they're going to see an ad in the middle of the article like you do. And then they're going to see the article or all those ads at the bottom of the page. And then sometimes you'll have ones on the side, depending on whether you're on a computer or mobile device.
Right. And if they say Joel Osteen is leaving Houston, you don't need to click on it because that's not true.
No, he's never going to leave his multi-million-dollar church unless they run him out with their pitchforks and their torches, which y'all are free to do anytime now, Houston. So there was another article I read this was on a website called theconversation.com, which is...
Oh, I haven't heard of that one yet.
Yeah, you know what? I hadn't heard of it either. So I plugged it into mediabiasfactcheck.com, and it came up with least biased, highly factual reporting. And it's a really pretty site. It looks more like educational type magazine or a periodical.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at the authors, and it's like a professor of public administration and policy at American University and an associate professor of communication studies at American University. So yeah, definitely educational. Yeah. Oh, that looks like a really good site.
Yeah, it looks really beautiful. It's really well laid out. The name of the article is Social Media Companies Should Ditch Clickbait and Compete Over Trustworthiness. And this is just from January. This is just from the beginning of this month, of this year. So,
nice.
They go into the libertarian free market roots of the internet and how, while that's given a lot of rise to these wonderful free market systems, it also points out if we knew exactly the underbelly of the algorithms for things like Google and Facebook, we would be really upset. And we need to have a little bit more integrity in these online systems, and we need to have more transparency. And it does point out that, like we say, transparency is the best way to drive out hate speech and fake news. And people want to have confidence in the quality of the information they receive. And in order to do that, they need to be more responsive to what people are requesting. So if people are saying, stop putting this stuff on your website, and they need to be more responsive to that, because it drives down their own credibility by having these things on their website.
I was really surprised that where I had clicked on that article was MSN, and it was like, no. And I've noticed that if you go to the MSN homepage, even just scrolling through the articles on the homepage, there's fake news.
Yeah.
And that's disheartening because a lot of people, well, maybe if you grew up in the 90s, have MSN as their homepage, for a news aggregator, or that's what their computer opens up to.
Right.
So I was really surprised that they had that on their front page.
Yes, we're here to fight the scourge of fake news and to try to bring light to some of these things that might not be often talked about in regular news cycles, like things like clickbait. It's just something people don't like, but we don't always know why it's there.
Yeah, and you kind of put up with it because you feel like you have to.
Right.
But I do like the word scourge, and I'm wondering if we can get some pirate costumes to fight fake news with.
Scourge, we're going to make you walk the plank, fake news.
Be like on our ship, we're here to fight some fake news.
I think it's a great idea. Let's just do it.
That's perfect. I think that's going to go over well.
So, Beth, was there anything else you wanted to talk about in regard to clickbait?
I don't think so. I think that's what I had for you guys today. Gosh, stay away from the skincare ads, man. If there's one thing that I could say not to buy online, I'm going to go with skincare. Go to your local stores, buy local, support your, even if you go to like a chain store, like a Nordstrom's or whatever.
Target.
If you want a free sample, go there. Like, don't Don't get it online. Don't do those free samples, especially if you don't know exactly what you're signing up for.
Or what's in them, or where exactly they come from.
I really think all those, with that many skincare companies, it's not a different product.
No.
It's got to be, they're just developing maybe a different bottle for some, a different packaging label. Right. I'm sure they're all very similar as well because they got to keep it cheap, right? And it's got to be just the same thing over and over again.
I bet it's just cocoa butter.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Probably nothing more than cocoa. I don't know what's in them. I have a hard time believing that it's probably something that's been designed by a dermatologist. It just doesn't sound like, if you're going to put money into research and development, why are you going to be so shady on the other end? So
yeah,
you're probably shady all the way through.
We need John Oliver on this. We need them to open up like a specific credit card with like only has $100 on it or something.
Right.
They can order the free trial from like 5 different ones, compare the things, come on, John Oliver, you got to help us out here. Come on.
We need someone with the science background.
We don't have your budget. Come on.
Yeah. So Beth, did you want to tell people where they can find us?
Yeah. So if you enjoyed this episode and want to hear some more, follow us on Twitter at Podcast Fake News and also at Facebook. You can email us any ideas or fake news articles that you have at podcastfakenews@gmail.com. And definitely check out our website and blog. We do a blog that goes along with each episode that has all the cool links to the things that we're talking about. I did make a change recently. I got a little mad. I wasn't mad at our listeners. I was just mad at fake news. And I was doing the blog and I decided that I'm no longer going to link the fake news articles. I'll put the link up there, but I'm not going to make it so that you can click on it. And the reason I made that change was that I didn't want anybody to accidentally click on it that didn't want to, first of all. And I also think that if you want to read the fake news article, you should have to work for it a little bit. You have to copy and paste.
You're going to have to copy and paste, guys. Sorry. We're making it one step harder.
But if it's legitimate, if it's a good source, or like, of course, our Spread Jam, Not Lies segment with our recommendations, those will be easily linked for you. But just wanted to mention that little change. And then, if you really want to support us, rate and review and subscribe where you get your podcasts. And then also you can support us at Patreon and go sign up to do $1 a month. And if you do that, you get cool rewards like listening to extra episodes that we do that don't get released to everybody. So go on over and become a jam of the pod for, I think is it jelly of the pod? I think is the $1 a month.
I think it's jelly of the month. But I have to tell you guys that this past week, Beth and I got together and she brought me some of her jam. And one of our Patreon levels is, what is it, a month?
Preserve of the month, $100 a month. Yes. I mean, come on.
For $100 a month, Beth is going to send you a bottle of her homemade jam. And she brought me a jar of Drunken Fig, and it's amazing. I'm just saying it's maybe worth $100 a month. I mean, you don't know. You haven't tasted it. I feel like it's very good.
I will say, I could send the homemade jam, but I wasn't going to do the homemade jam just for, so that nobody would sue me if they got sick or something.
Gotcha.
But we would send you jam once a month. I guess if you're willing to sign like a waiver, I'll send you the homemade jam. It's really very good. There's nothing bad in it. It's just,
Yeah, $100 is all we make, guys. If you send us $100 a month, that's the most we're making. So we can't afford to get sued.
Anyway, well, I'm glad you like the jam. It is really good. It's my favorite. I have a 50-year-old fig tree in my backyard. And so every season I get like thousands of figs. Yes. And I have a couple of different jam recipes that are family favorites. And the Drunken Fig is my favorite. So
cool.
Nice. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I really do. And I don't normally really even like figs, but I was like, this is really good.
Yeah.
The drunken part comes through really well.
Yeah. It's got brandy in it. It's really amazing. Elizabeth, I had sent her the honey fig jam. And just so our listeners know, I talked to Elizabeth and she is willing to come back and do some hosting again and be on with us. So I think that'll be really fun to bring her back and get you guys to meet.
We can have it. Awesome chicks talking to awesome chicks.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys. Well, until next time, spread jam.
Not lies.